The elevator rose in complete silence, smooth and soundless, like it was lifting Nia King out of one life and into another. She stood with her back straight, hands clasped over her wool coat, but her fingers wouldn't stop trembling. Inside her pocket, her thumb traced the sharp edge of the ultrasound photo. It was a small piece of paper, but it carried the weight of a nuclear bomb. Nia was a PhD student from Chicago. She wasn't supposed to be here, in the private penthouse of the Lot World Tower in Seoul. She wasn't supposed to be in love with a man like Min-Jun Choi, the silent king of the Seven-Star Syndicate. But love doesn't ask for permission, and neither does life. The doors opened. The penthouse was a fortress of glass and marble. Min-Jun stood by the window, looking out at the city he ruled. He wore a black suit, tailored to perfection, his silhouette sharp against the city lights. He turned. His face was beautiful, cold, and terrifying. "Nia," he said. His voice was low, a rumble that vibrated in her chest. "You came." Nia took a breath. "I have something to tell you." She pulled the ultrasound from her pocket. She walked across the marble floor, her heels clicking like a countdown. She handed it to him. "I'm pregnant, Min-Jun. It's yours." Min-Jun took the photo. He looked at it. The silence stretched for an eternity. Nia waited for the smile. She waited for the man who whispered soft promises in the dark. Instead, his eyes went cold, dead cold. He looked at her with a contempt that shattered her heart. "This baby," Min-Jun said, his voice void of emotion, "is not mine." "What?" Nia whispered. "Min-Jun, there's no one else. You know that." "I know that I am infertile," Min-Jun said. "I have been for 10 years. The doctors confirmed it." He held up the photo, and then, slowly, deliberately, he tore it in half. Rip. Then again. Rip. He dropped the pieces at her feet. "Get out," he ordered, "and take your lies with you." Nia didn't scream. She didn't beg. She just looked at the pieces of her future on the floor. She turned around. She walked out. She didn't know that Min-Jun was wrong. She didn't know that a medical error from a decade ago was about to destroy both their lives. And Min-Jun didn't know that he had just exiled the only person who ever truly loved him and his own flesh and blood. The first hour after your life ends is the quietest. Nia walked out of the Lot Tower and into the freezing Seoul night. She didn't have a coat warm enough for this wind. She walked until her legs went numb. She sat on a bench in a park, clutching her stomach. "I believe you," she whispered to the tiny life inside her. "We don't need him." But she did need him. She was an expat. Her visa was tied to her student status, which she couldn't afford because of the tuition Min-Jun had quietly arranged for her. Fear set in. Min-Jun wasn't just a man. He was the Mafia. If he thought she was a liar, a traitor, would he let her live? Paranoia became her shadow. Every black car looked like his. Every footstep sounded like his enforcers. Nia made a choice. She would disappear. She went to the bank and withdrew her meager savings. She threw her SIM card into the Han River. She moved to a tiny, windowless Goshiwon, a closet-sized room, in a neighborhood where the police didn't go. She became a ghost. The room smelled of mold and instant ramen. Nia lay on the thin mattress, staring at the ceiling. She touched her stomach. It was still flat, but she felt the nausea rising. "We are going to be okay," she lied to herself. She started working under the table, washing dishes in a back alley restaurant where they paid in cash and didn't ask for ID. Her hands, used to turning the pages of art history books, became red and cracked from bleach and hot water. She was tired, bone tired. But every time she thought about going back, about begging Min-Jun for mercy, she remembered the sound of that paper tearing. Rip. No, she would starve before she let him hurt them again. Min-Jun Choi didn't sleep. He sat in his penthouse, drinking whiskey that cost more than Nia's new apartment. He stared at the spot on the floor where she had stood. He told himself he was right. He knew he was right. The accident 10 years ago, the car crash that killed his brother, had left him with internal injuries. The best specialists in Zurich had told him, no children, ever. So Nia was lying. She was a spy or a gold digger. But why hadn't she argued? Why hadn't she asked for money? Why did her eyes look so broken? Boss. His right-hand man, Tae Yang, entered the room. We can't find her. Min-Jun swirled his drink. Good. Let her run. She emptied her bank account. She disappeared from the university. It looks like she's hiding. Guilt, Min-Jun said. Only the guilty hide. But the doubt was a worm in his brain. It ate at him. Weeks passed. Min-Jun became crueler. He snapped at his men. He broke a rival gang leader's arm for looking at him wrong. His sister, Ji-woo, came to visit. You look like hell, she said. I'm fine. You miss her. She lied to me. Are you sure? Ji-woo asked. Science makes mistakes, Min-Jun. Doctors make mistakes. Did you ever get a second opinion? Min-Jun froze. No, he hadn't. He had accepted the diagnosis as his penance for surviving the crash. That night, Min-Jun made a call. Dr. Lee, I need you to run some tests. On me. The results came in a sealed envelope. Min-Jun sat at his desk. His hands, which could assemble a sniper rifle in the dark, were shaking. He opened it. He read the medical jargon. Sperm count? Low, but viable. Motility? Recovered. Possibility of conception? 15%. Not 0. 15%. Min-Jun dropped the paper. The room spun. It was possible. She hadn't lied. She had come to him with a miracle, and he had torn it up and thrown her into the street. Tae Yang! Min-Jun roared. His men rushed in, guns drawn, thinking they were under attack. Find her, Min-Jun ordered. He was hyperventilating. Find her now. Tear this city apart. Check every hospital, every shelter, every airport. Bring her to me. The hunt began. But Nia was good at hiding. She had learned from the best, him. She saw the posters. She saw the men in suits showing her picture to shopkeepers. She dyed her hair black. She wore baggy clothes to hide her growing belly. She was terrified. She thought he was hunting her to kill the baby, to finish the job. Scene. The chase. Month 7. Narrator. Nia was 7 months pregnant. Her back ached constantly. She was walking home from the restaurant in the rain. A black car slowed down beside her. She froze. The window rolled down. It was Tae Yang. Nia didn't think. She ran. She ran into the maze of alleyways in Itaewon. She scrambled over fences, heavy with child, gasping for air. Nia, wait! Tae Yang shouted. She hid in a dumpster, holding her breath, praying to a god she hadn't spoken to in years. They passed her. She survived, but she knew she had to leave Seoul. Nia fled to Busan. She found a charity clinic run by nuns. They took her in. They didn't ask questions. She went into labor on a stormy Tuesday. It was long. It was brutal. She was alone. She screamed for her mother. She screamed for Min-Jun, even though she hated him. Push, child, the nun urged. And then, a cry. Small, angry, alive. A baby girl. Nia held her. She had Min-Jun's eyes, the same dark, intense shape. I will call you Maya, Nia whispered. Maya, illusion, because you are the only magic I have left. Back in Seoul, Min-Jun was losing his mind. He had hired private investigators. He had bribed police chiefs. Nothing. He sat in the nursery. Yes, he had built a nursery. He sat in the rocking chair, holding the torn pieces of the ultrasound he had taped back together. I'm sorry, he whispered to the empty room. Please, just let them be alive. It was a mistake on a digital form that found her. Nia registered Maya's birth certificate. The system flagged her passport number. Min-Jun got the alert at 3 a.m. Busan. He flew there in a helicopter. He didn't bring an army. He went alone. He found the clinic. The nuns tried to stop him, but he walked past them like a ghost. He found the room. Nia was sleeping. The baby was in a plastic cot beside her. Min-Jun stood in the doorway. He looked at the child. She was real. She was perfect. She was his. Nia woke up. She saw him. She didn't scream. She reached for the fruit knife on the bedside table. "Don't touch her," Nia hissed. "I'll kill you." Min-Jun raised his hands. He was crying. The silent king was weeping openly. "I know," he choked out. "I know I deserve it." He fell to his knees. "Nia, I was wrong. I was so wrong. You tore us apart. You threw us away. I know, and I will spend the rest of my life crawling through glass to make it up to you." He didn't move toward the baby. He waited for permission. Nia looked at him. She saw the dark circles under his eyes, the weight loss, the grief. She didn't forgive him, not yet, but she lowered the knife. "Her name is Maya," Nia said. Min-Jun looked at the baby. "Maya," he whispered. He stayed on his knees all night. It took a year. Nia moved back to Seoul, but not to the penthouse. She got her own apartment. Min-Jun paid for it, but he wasn't allowed a key. He courted her like they were strangers. He brought flowers. He sat in her living room and changed diapers. He endured her coldness, her anger, her silence. He proved himself, not with money, but with time. One day, in the park, Maya took her first steps. She walked toward Min-Jun. He caught her. He lifted her up, laughing. Nia watched them. The ice in her chest finally cracked. Min-Jun looked at her over the baby's head. "Thank you," he mouthed, "for saving her, for saving me." Nia smiled, a small, tired, real smile. "Don't make me regret it, Min-Jun." "Never," he promised, and the silent king kept his word.